from his experience, right? Make it into a interactive dialogue, right? So please allow me to toggle back to presentation slides and share with you, our topic today. Yeah. And okay, maybe I can. For everyone online, can you all see the screen? Sean, Ryan, you have already changed the screen, right? Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so so we are Hourglass Robotics, and Hourglass is founded by myself in 2018, and then we are focusing on robots, right? So we are kind of one of the first few companies focused on robotics in Singapore, and we're a distributor. Instead of building our own robot, we believe that there are already ready robots that are available in the market that can address the customer's needs. Right, so we do not spend too much resources on building them, but instead of focusing on the services to make using the ready technology to make to please our customers in terms of business processes. So therefore, you can see that we have a few different brands we are working together, right? And then coming to the end of 2020, right, we become the sole distributor of this brand called Tech, right? So these are the series of products that Pudu is producing, and they are, I would say, they are one of they're kind of a DJI for robot, right? Because their product is super nice, and you can see the quality. I can show you later. So in the beginning of the business, I think we're blocking some of the. Okay, in the beginning of the business, we are facing a lot of questions, like customers are asking, hey, who are your customers, right? Who are the use cases in local, right? Last time we can only show them, oh, in China, there are so many companies using, but coming to this year, we're proudly saying that we have a lot of local brands using our products in Singapore. Especially, we have some very reputable brands, like for example, Asia Grant, Imperial Treasure, and Switchen, using our product. Of course, Haidilao, right? Haidilao is using it worldwide. So surprisingly, they're actually using more than 1,000 robots worldwide, right? In the F&B outlets. And then recently we also have like some hotels started using our robots as well. Yeah, in the testing. So these are the few models we are focusing on today. First of all, is the Pudu Box, Bella Bot, and Hola Bot. Right. So these are the 4 different models, and different models for different purposes. Right. So we can elaborate further later. So as you can see, these are some of the local cases over here. We got their approval, so we are able to use their brand together with our robot. Yeah. So I have Shiminori. Shiminori is one of the first customers in Singapore using robots, and then Raffles Marina, yeah, and then Switchen, yeah. So we start with a simple video, right? This is a box.
号桌客人，您的菜在第1层托盘，请取餐并点击完成哦。
So you can see this is a photo box, right? With the box, it's a slightly different from the other one. Guys, can you give some space so that you can see? All right, it's the same model, it's same product but different design, right? With the box or without the box. And then we have another one. This is a pallet board. As you can see, the pallet board is over there.
Hey, thanks, William, for the sharing session. I believe that maybe some of you have some questions. Some of you may have some questions to raise to William.
Any questions so far?
For live viewers, if you have some questions, you may post it on the feed below, and we'll direct them to William for you. Thank you.
Okay, so some of you may have a question like, what's the difference between pallet board and the to-do board, right? So the previous one is to-do board, this one is a pallet board. So I would say the main differences are the design. Firstly, the design. Secondly, because pallet board is a later design product, so the chassis is different. So in terms of its stability, it's slightly better, right? But different customers have different requirements. To-do board is our flagship model, so it's the best seller, right? Pallet board is come out later and it's heavier. So majority of the customer, they will use to-do board when it comes to deliver and return plates, right? And using collar board mainly for because it has some interactive function. You touch the ear, the robot will meow, so it has some interactive functions. So you can see, and pallet board can also be as an usher, right? To to navigate for you, to a table. For example, you have an usher in front, right? They can, you don't have to leave the area. The robot can do the job for you, right? This is another reason people using pallet board. Okay. So let me carry on if there's no much other questions. Sorry.
Okay.
Will the robot be able to work in a non-air-conditioned environment?
Okay, of course, good question. Yes, our robot can work in different environments. You can work in indoor. You can also work in a so-called semi-outdoor. The requirement is that our robot will need a ceiling, covered area, right? So we have Raffles Marina. The environment is very humid. It's outdoor. Right? It's a marine environment. It works perfectly, pretty well. Yeah. Under carpet, right? So yes, our robot can go on the carpet. So you from transition from half floor to carpet is possible, but a few things we need to take note. First of all is the transition, whether there is a step. If there is a step, if the step is too high, then of course the robot may stuck there. If the step is not very high, it may cause vibration. This vibration may cause, for example, drinks you may fell off, right? I mean, spillage, yeah. And also another issue is, for example, some carpet if it's not very thick carpet, it's very thin carpet, but it's not sticking on the wall the floor very well. You may roll over. So these are the minor issues that we need to take note when it comes to carpet. The answer is yes, you can walk on the carpet. Okay, so we carry on with the Holabo introduction. Yeah. Right, so this is a Hola board. So we also have a Hola board in our office, so we can show you a demo later. The advantage for Hola board is that Hola board is able to collect plates, and we can actually use a device, like a watch, to call the robot. So we don't have to go over to get a robot and to bring it over. Right, so that's the difference. So it depends on your business model and your operation processes. Right, then we can see how this robot can fit into your process. Yeah. Okay, and you can see this is I mean, we talk about one word, right? Process. Nowadays, I think a lot of industries are talking about another word called lean, right? Trying to be lean. So when we talk about how to be lean, then the first thing we need to look at is the process, right? So over here in the restaurant, we talk about a very, very simple process. The process is from getting the food from the kitchen to the table, right? So what are the things? First of all, when someone orders the food, then the kitchen will start preparing the food. Once the food is prepared, then the waiter will walk to the kitchen and to get the food and walk to the table and to serve the food, right? So I think for majority of people think that, hey, nothing wrong there, right? So the issue is what the customer is paying for is prepare the food, serve the food, correct? Because that's what they want. And they are not paying for delivery, right? So sometimes customers say, oh, I'm focused on service, I don't need robot, right? But the thing is this, when your people are running around to get the food, are they in front of the customer? The answer is no, right? Because I'm getting the food. So very often in the restaurant, we're waiting at the waiter. Then the waiter says, I'm busy, I'm getting the food. But the customer is experiencing that, hey, your service is lousy, right? That's the feedback. Yeah. So how do we solve that? We get a simple work which doesn't really add value, right? In terms of your business operation, doesn't really add much value to be done by a robot to get it automated, right? If we really calculate, right, how much walking distance a human is having, every day it can be 5,000 to 6,000 meters per day, right? We get it automated, and then your waiter can be more present in front of the customer, right? And then the overall is saving time. Okay. So yeah, we get it automated. So your business can be more lean, right? And then if you compare, robot and a human, what's the difference? A human, we have 5 to 10 hours per day, right? And every week we have 2 days rest, Saturday, Sunday, and we have leave, annual leave, MC, all this. If we add up together, right? I did a calculation. There are about 120 days in a year a human is resting, right? Not considering the 8 hours per day, right? In terms of days, it's so long. It's like half of the working time is actually resting, correct? Now 1/3 of the year. If you are using a robot, it naturally increase the duration by half already. And then if we consider the working hour, the robot is working way longer, right? You don't have to hire 2 shifts. 1 shift, the robot can work, 1 shift and 365 days. All right, so this is the difference, right? And the robot, you don't just need to charge, you don't need to pay attention to the absenteeism, complaint, fatigue, management. You don't have to worry about all these things, and it performs consistently. All you need to worry is about whether hourglass service is good or not, right? That's all you need to worry about, right? So you can see that the configuration of the robots, our weight is 30 kg, and can you see? Yeah, 30 kg, and charging time is 4 hours. So after 4 hours charging, you can use for 8 hours time, right? So some customers say, hey, is it enough? 8 hours, but I'm running 12 hours. So, but the thing is, most of the restaurant F&B business, you don't have business from 9 to 9, right? Correct. So in the middle, you have a lot of time. You don't really have a lot of customers. So you take that opportunity to charge the robot. Then you can continuously using it during your peak hours, right? So our robot is able to handle the whole day. Yeah. And then you can see that our robot is pretty stable. Some customers say, oh, your robot looks like a ladder, right? Will it fall down or not? If you, I will show you our robot is not able to fall down. Yeah, it's very, very stable because the center of gravity is low. It's really heavy down there. And then we have we can configure to 1 to 5 trays, right? So we have a lot of trays, and also our robot. Sometimes when we see robots, right, the robot always have a jam brake, and then you have soup on the robot, right? It will spill out. But our robot has 3 modes: we have jam brake, we have lesser than jam brake, or a very long stopping time, break time, meaning that our robot is able to handle soup and drinks pretty well. Yeah, and also on a relatively not so even floor, but very uneven floor, then it's very difficult. No robot can handle the job. Yeah. So how it works is that our robot has two different kind of mode. One is a cruise mode, meaning the robot will go round and round non-stop, right? So this is for example, collecting plates, right, and or delivering tissues, delivering drinks in a buffet style. And then another mode is a direct delivery mode. So this direct delivery mode, typical mode from the kitchen to different tables, right? So this is most of the time we'll be using. But sometimes customer may be using the robot not only for tables, but also for stations, because the area may not be big enough for the robot to reach every table, or the soup or the certain dish, right, is too hot, like switching, every dish is very hot, right? How can you get a customer to take themselves, right? So they deliver to different stations, so still get a server to serve, so that they can save 1 or 2 runner, right? Okay. Okay, so these are the different places in Singapore. Okay, and we also have like a different. Just now you can see that Chinese restaurant, many are Chinese restaurant, and Japanese restaurant, and then we have Indian restaurant.
வருது வருது அட விலகு விலகு வேங்கை வெளியே வருது 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 அட விலகு விலகு வேங்கை வெளியே வருது வேங்கை நான் தான் தீரும் நாள் தான் வருது வருது அட விலகு விலகு வேங்கை வெளியே வருது
Like workers that they are not able to carry every day, it's too tiring. This is a shimi. This is a Imperial Pleasure. You go restaurant. You go restaurant. 30 seconds. Junior. Right. So, and then we have this is the one. So some people say, they're higher. very nice. Still getting the flavor. Right. So it's the same model as the food board, just with the cover outside. Yeah, it's pretty nice. And we have a Raffles Marina. See, we have two robots. We have an open door. We have a little bit slope there. They're so used to it. So really that yeah. And this is like spring court. Spring court. I think yeah. They also use the they really like it. After the trial, like then everyone, you know, they oh robot come there already. They call the robot Lucy or something. Yeah. And this is the Nongya restaurant. Yeah, at the right. And then you can see there are some marketing ideas. You can, you know, we work with you, you can come up with a design, right? You can, you know, and decorate your design to suit your business needs, your branding needs. And of course, you know, Haidilao is using this, like nobody business, like birthday, right? Right. So at the end, you know, everyone is talking about data, right? Big data. You know, we're using data analysis. So over here, we can also collect data because all the systems are already there. Our robot actually is a standalone system. We don't rely on cloud, so that we don't need any IT infrastructure. But the thing is that once we have data, but we also have a cloud system that collect data only, meaning that it's not a must to have a Wi-Fi, right? So when we have Wi-Fi, we collect the data already. Then you can, you know, you can analyze. Okay, what's your really utilization of the robot, right? Some day it's not using. What's the reason, right? How many plates are we sending? How many trays are we tables are we serving per day, right? And we also can see what are the hot seats, you know, in your place, right? So these are the data you can collect. It's already in the system. So yeah, that's all for my presentation. So any questions?
Any further questions?
Your robot is only a fixed place that you can travel, or it can really nothing.
Okay, yeah. So the question is is the robot able? Let me just share with the online one. So are we able to travel? Is it a fixed path to travel, or is it flexible? Are we able to go to different places if there's any changes, right? Okay. Am I right to say that you are asking in terms of, let's say, you are shifting the table sometimes, correct?
Or moving to different location every time.
Moving to different locations every time, right? Okay. So how our robot works, right, is that we don't use the, okay, some of the robots, they are using scan technology, meaning that they scan the map of the whole area, entire area, to understand the shape of your layout, and then from there to recognize the location. Our robot is different. You know, those there are some robots, they place the magnetic strip on the floor, right? Our robot is different. We do it on the ceiling. So we place some, you see these markers, white color markers, right? So we place some marker, white color marker, or even gray color markers on the ceiling, so that if your ceiling is white in color, you know, against white, it doesn't look very obvious, right? You cannot see already. So with that, we just need to create a highway for the robot, meaning that main path for the robots, no matter how you shift your table, it doesn't matter so long you don't block the main way, right? But of course, if you need to block the main way, you may need to remap the robot. But remapping is not difficult because you just need to change the path a little bit here and there. We don't have to touch all these markers, in terms of infrastructure. We don't have to shift anything, yeah, or we don't have to add in more, yeah. So in terms of changes, it's pretty fast and easy, yeah. Of course, we suggest that if you have certain pattern, right, we can either create multiple maps inside the same robot, so you don't have to, keep calling us to come down to fix it, or you can just, simply toggle between different maps, yeah, to fulfill your needs.
But does it mean we cannot bring the robots to events?
For bring to events, right, I think it's possible. Depending on, depending on the venue, and also depending on the how you are going to set it up. It's possible, but we need to look into that in detail.
What is the height?
Okay, the height limit of the ceiling, right? So our robot can go up to 8 meters height. Yeah, 8 meters is pretty high. Yeah. So majority of the ceiling is less than 5 meters. So I would say our robot work with probably 80% of the normal configuration can work with 80%, and then the 20% can work on a different high ceiling model. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so I hand it over back to
In
you.
that case, we can conclude the Q&A and we move on to the panel discussion. But before we begin, maybe I can introduce to you our third speaker for today, Sean Chen from IMC. Maybe Sean, you can self-introduction.
Sure. My name is Sean. I'm the Principal Managing Consultant for Integrated Marketing Consultancy Singapore, in short IMC. We deal with different kind of consultancy, but mainly specializing in F&B. We are not a product proprietary, so that means we analyze your business and then we provide the solutions we require. So there's no hard and fast rule that we're selling POS machine. So we build the business or the consultancy around a POS machine. So we provide marketing services. So you don't really need a very cool, strong team of marketing. In short, we cover all aspects of F&B. So from kitchen design, new business entry, new branding, public relations. So today we're here to discuss on the robotics. Today we'll just be covering two main topics. Number one, we'll be covering on the existing solutions to tackle the manpower crunch in F&B. And number two, we'll be exploring on the potential for robotics automation. So let's begin. Okay, for question number one, I believe everyone has known that F&B has been facing a huge manpower crunch. So recently, RAS has actually offered out 1,000 new job openings to the local market. But so far there are no takers to take up these roles. But despite the economic situation, like where everybody can't get a job, why are there no takers? Well, I think then again it goes down to the expectations of job seekers first and foremost. What is it that they want? I've always emphasized that F&B it's a industry where you enter with passion, of interest, and not just a fortnight want to do thing. Secondly, we talk about the expectations of the role. F&B covers many roles, from kitchen, from operations to service. There are expectations that people come in and say they only want to work on weekends and all, but then again, they have to understand that F&B, the weekend is where we are at the peak. So I think it's something of a check and balance that we have to communicate with job seekers. Is that what you want to do? Because in F&B, we all have to expect that there will be weekends involved, public holidays, people public holidays.
Thanks for the sharing. Now it sounds to me that maybe this shows may conflict with the lifestyles of Singaporeans.
To a certain extent, I think so. But then again, F&B personnel, they tell you, you want to do banking, you get a Monday off, get a Tuesday off. There's lesser people at the bank. We bring the family out to the zoo, the park, lesser people. I think at the end of the day, it's how you manage time, yeah, expectations of family. How about you, Mr. William?
I'm not in the F&B business, but I have got a lot of feedback from customers because every day I'm dealing with customers, are complaining about, oh, I don't have enough people, my people just left. I heard from one of the customers, very interesting feedback about manpower. It's like because she's talking about, oh, I just hired a chef. The chef just arrived in the morning. Then afternoon, another chef said, oh, I want to go and deliver grab food. Actually, the chef is not. I said, oh, so how is his salary okay? He's still making more money in the grab food. He say, I'm actually paying quite good money, like 4,000 over per month. I don't know the rate, but I mean, for me, I see 4,000 over dollars is really a lot, right? I mean, but why people still driving Grab? I think they say, oh, I just want to, it's very different kind of life, and there's a freedom, right? So I think the issue is there are too many choices for them already. Not like last time, oh, you go by one way forever, you do this job. So I think it's a different mentality.
I think that's an interesting case there. Maybe George, you can conclude the question right here. And we move on to the second question. So recently, okay, so from last year, actually, RAS they proposed to the government to raise the quota for foreign workers. So let's say if the government does indeed raise the quota for foreign workers, do you think that this is going to address the manpower crunch? Sure.
First and foremost, I think it's not a question of whether they will raise the quota. I think it's to what extent and to what percentage are they raising it to. Then again, by raising the quota, there are many more opportunities for Singaporeans to come aboard. So there are many younger generations who are really eagerly keen in this industry. That may open up the entry for them. And then moving to a question on will it really affect the quota? I think yes. Factually, yes, definitely will affect the ratio of Singaporeans to foreign workers. But I think then again, there are steps involved like posting jobs on careers that actually help to balance things out. So I believe for every action that it's a certain kind of movement or planning for that. Yes.
Interesting. About
that one, I think probably our F&B operators may know better than me. Yeah. So I think for the quota wise, again, there are too many choices. End of the day is the choices, and foreigners. Yeah, I mean, but COVID, because I heard some people they take a very long time to clear after they come into Singapore, they are quarantined and then don't know whether they can come in or not. So I think some people they may end up, never mind lah. No. I don't know. Yeah.
I think we can move on to the next question. So I actually saw that some F&B establishments, they're actually looking to hire disabled people to deal with labor shortages. Actually, what do you think about it? Do you think that this is going to help them with labor shortages?
I personally, I feel that this plan has been in place for a few years already. There are the more popular ones like the Yellow Ribbon Project. I think it's gone are the days whereby we feel that these people can't contribute much, or maybe due to their disability, they can't handle certain heavy loads and all. I mean, incorporating with the robots today, I think it's something that really helps them in this industry. There are some people who are illiterate, who can't really read much text. Operating a robot is easy. They can do the job as runners. Which in the past they may have problems handling customers and all. But with robots today, I mean, it's not, then again, non-proprietary to me, but with robots today, these people can then do their jobs even better. You know, yep.
Actually, sounds like you're saying that, that the robots can use to complement these people with disabilities.
Definitely, I think there are it goes out to a certain extent, to a very huge extent actually. You know, there are people that have trouble walking, so to carry the food item from the kitchen to the table, they may find it a problem for them. But with robots nowadays, we can load the food up. These people can then walk with this machine and then load it up. So there's still a human touch to it, not just a robot serving. Yeah. So these people can still do the job. They can still present themselves properly, dress properly. They can still serve up the food. Just eliminates the problem for them. Yep.
Actually, William, what do you think about these robots collaborating with people with disabilities? What are your thoughts?
I will use an example to share about this thing. I have a customer, Mr. Chicken Rice, right? So what happened is that they actually bought a hola board, right? Hola board to deliver used plates, right? So what happened is that they have an auntie working with them for very long, and this auntie want to retire because it's too tiring, right? So after they start deploying the product already, then you know what happened? The auntie say, "Oh, actually, I think about it. I can delay a little bit." So the boss is very happy. So the boss is actually giving a lot of testimonial in this because the auntie is willing to work longer, right? So in terms of say, oh, I replace manpower, but actually I inspire my existing people to work longer, right? So because everyone is shortage of manpower. So when we talk about either elderly, first elderly, and also the disabled people, right? Some people they may not have be able to move very fast. They can the hand can move. So we can actually design a job for them. Let the robot to become I always say let the robot to become a xiaodi or xiaomei, right? To work for this person. Then he can just do human sophisticated work. Using hand to do certain things. For example, being a runner. I don't run, but I station at the running at the dish sending outlet, right? To station there. When the food comes, I put it on the robot. I control the robot, tell the robot to go, right? Then you actually make their life more meaningful, and they still can contribute to the business. Yeah.
So you're saying that the robot does the heavy work, or the disabled people does the lighter work. Is that what you're saying?
I will say disabled people do more sophisticated work, which only human can do. Then let the robot to do the heavy work.
Actually, see a lot of potential in this. Thanks for the case sharing. Maybe we can move on to the next question. So I've also noticed that there are many restaurants that are looking to use digital automation. Some examples are your e-kiosk, QR code scanning, or online menu. Actually, I see that this kind of automation only covers the small tasks. There does not seem to be a lot of options. So how is your robotics automation any different than QR codes?
I would say, of course, QR code is very good. It's very innovative, right? But in terms of robot, we are. It's always about the business model, right? How is your business running, and where are the areas that can be automated? Because when we're talking about automation, for example, a lift, right? It doesn't make it makes sense for the lift to bring me to up to down, but it doesn't make sense to automate the process of me going to the lift and press the lift button, right? So certain things might not be able to automate. So, but then we have to identify, okay, a case by case basis, we have to talk to a customer, understand the business needs, the pain point, and understand where are the areas can be automated, right? So sometimes it may happen like certain customer, I want to automate this part. The thing is that I have too little people, right, to automate the thing. In the end, what happens is they don't have the luxury to put one person to be there to control the robot. Then everyone is running everywhere. Then in the end, it doesn't make sense to control the robot already, right? Then it really boils down to the actual business situation and how we can design this process for them. Yeah.
Thanks for answering. So so this is the last question. Okay, so so let's say for robot department. Actually, I find there are some concerns where people say if you replace a human with a robot, it may actually destroy the human touch with the service standards. It may compromise that service standards. Actually, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I think for this area, I would say it's quite similar as like the diagram I showed, right? Just now, before and after. So human is better at serving, right? We can talk to people. So the question is that, like last time I was having a dialogue with the IMDA, right? So IMDA wants to, you all know this Pongo robot, right? Delivering, a bag of rice or these things, right? It's a very innovative project. So the issue is why they want to do this project, even though they know the productivity won't be like increased tremendously, but it's more like a trial. But the thing is, they asked me one question, William. Do you want your son to work as a delivery guy when he's grown up? I say no. Then the next question is, who wants his son to do this work? The answer is, nobody wants their son or daughter to do this work, right? So we look at the future is already set like that. No, not many people wants to do this kind of work. And in a restaurant, we like to have human touch with human, right? Yes, we want to do this work because we have passion, because we want to interact with people, but we don't want to carry the food. Correct? We don't want to carry it. Nobody wants their daughter to go and carry the food, heavy food every day. Yes, we want to serve, to interact with people, telling some jokes and getting the customer to order this food and that food, right? This is something value add human can do, and human is passionate in doing, but we don't want to do delivery. So then this is how to answer this question first. Yes, in the long run, we have very limited people want to do runners. Let a robot do. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing this example. Okay, now we can end the panel discussion. So we can begin for the Q&A for
not just me, but also Sean as well. Sean has many years of experience in F&B, so they don't represent us. Yeah. So, any question from over here and online?
our viewers?
Any questions so far? Okay.
Maybe as we wait, I can also share one of the concerns that I'm quite used to getting from F&B business owners, managers. The question they always ask me, if we were to implement robotic operations in our restaurant, would that, number one, lead to redundancy in manpower? That's the first thing they ask. And my question to them is always such. First thing, when we always say we have a passion for F&B, we have a passion from how we serve, how we interact with guests, how the business is ran, from central kitchen operations, from logistics, from QA. But seldom do we hear people having a passion, like what William said, to be a food runner. Okay. So I think at the end of the day, the robots actually play a big job in filling gaps between the humans. Jobs that humans try to step away from, or we have problems handling, such like double boiled soup, which is too hot, you've got to go on a tray. When a robot goes out and a small kid runs into it, nobody's at fault. But normally when a server, auntie, she takes the food, and then a young boy runs to him, oh, your auntie is at fault, she cannot hold properly, this and that. So it's usually such things. Auntie will say it's too hot, uncle will say it's too heavy. Plate collectors, F&B, been in F&B for a couple of 10 years. I've seen plate cleaners, some business practitioners, they told us, hey, do not clear the food or the plate in front of customers, just bring. But to them, plate cleaners, how are they going to stack the plate up when there are bones and all inside? So, and then still carry it to the kitchen. So the robots come into play. Bowls here on top, plates below, the bigger ones below. Press a button, send it back in. Wow. So, there's no limit to, plates are plates, there are certain weights, but they won't say, oh, 我只可以拿10个盘子，其他的太重, things like that. So I think that's help. And at the end of the day, restaurant, we talk about turning tables. We want tables to turn quick. Customers come in. Given that now the COVID, we have 50% shortages of tables and chairs. Every sitting, it's money for business. So we want tables to be turned fast. But we can't probably deploy 3% to clear a table, and then there's nobody to look after the customers. So I think in that aspect, we see it probably that we can then see clearly, evidently, that robots will not replace humans, but they come into play as a tool for the human.
Any questions? Any questions? If no, then we will move to the demo.
Yes, the hands-on demo. Maybe you can all stand up and test out this robot.
Yep. Okay, yeah, please take a seat. So I will just change on the camera here. Okay. So thank you everyone. We are going to start the demo, the live demo. Okay, so let me see. Okay, okay. All right, so we are using this area as a demonstration of our robots. We're going to demo 3 robots. We have a kudu board, we have a holler board, and we have a baler board. Okay. So as you can see, we have 3 robots working together, right? So we are able to deliver the robot with 3 different kinds. Maybe I push it over there so that. Right. Okay, so we have this robot. We have 3 trays or 4 trays. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So some customer will put a container below to deliver, soil plates, right? Then on the first plate, I can actually put this the water, and I can remove this, right? And remove this to carry food as well. It's available to you. Yeah, it's easy to remove. This is easy to remove. Right. This is easy to remove. So I can put it there. Okay. So, and you can see that our robot is very stable. And see, the suspension is pretty good. Right. Why do I emphasize on the suspension? Because the robot is able to reduce the vibration when it's moving on certain floor which is not so even. Right. So now I'm sending the robot to the water, right, on the robot. I'm going to send to number 2, let's say number 2. So you can see that interface. You just press the button, and then I'm going to move the robot, and you can see that I can push the robot easily, right? I will show you why. This is important.
Moving on.
Okay, sample number 3.
Just. Once this is done, so the server will press done. All the customer will press done by themselves, right? So certain customer they say, oh, my customer doesn't want to press, right? They say it's dirty, right? So I don't want to contact. So what we can do is this: the robot has a countdown function. So it's possible for me to set to enable this countdown or not to have countdown, right? So our robots are able to, yeah. So this is the first thing, it's a movement, right? Say you are not to shift it back. Let's see. Okay, now what if I want to get the robots to work together, right? For example, if I have a one row, one single row, if the robot is going and then another robot and it's coming out, and then another robot is going, so what will happen? Right. So the robot will avoid each other, will talk to each other. So you can see over here, the robot has a robot 2, meaning that this robot is able to see the other 2 robots. Right. So now I'm going to send the robot to number 2. All the robots are in. See what happened to this robot? That robot is taking another route. However, you know that this robot is still here, right? It's waiting. You see this? Amazing, right? Yeah.
Can you ask one question? Let's say when the store is having an event,
Yeah.
okay, and I want the robots to actually help me to do a cocktail reception, walking around with canopies. Can we adjust the speed of it?
Yeah, we can adjust the speed. So we can adjust the speed at different way of walking. For example, I want the robot to go fast and return slow, right? I mean, go slow and return fast, right? It's possible. Or certain, I want to have the robot to say, for example, it's going 1 round, right? But this round, that round is a highway. This lane is actually near the customer's place. So I want the robot to go slow and fast, slow and fast. So this is possible. So we can have different ways to get the robot to work to tailor for the business needs.
So even if the robot would go slow, come back slow, back to the kitchen.
Yes, it's possible. Okay. Yeah. So you can see that right now, Sean is in front of the robot, and the robot is not eating him, right? And it's working, quite well.
So at any time somebody is talking and they happen to be in the way of the robot will be swing.
Yeah, the robot will not just stop, the robot will avoid you. Right? So the robot will avoid, right? And then, okay, now, so this point is a dishwashing point. This is a dishwashing point. So after finish, because this robot is meant for dish collection, right? and then I finish, send the robot back to its outlet, it's a standby location. So you can see that these three robots are working together. Can you see that? You know they are lining up properly, right? The first robot goes back. You will park in the inside, and then the second robot will park outside. Then the third robot will park outside. So, right. So these are the different modes. So we have three modes. One mode is a one-to-one, meaning that we have a dedicated parking space for each robot. Meaning when you go out, you return at the same place, right? And then we have a free parking mode, meaning that whoever come back first will park at the priority place, and then the second one and third one. The third mode is we have let's say assuming we don't have a space to put three robots, we only have space to put two robots. So the third robot is able to park elsewhere while waiting for the other robot to move out, then you will come back to occupy this space, right? So it's able to tailor for different kind of business needs and your layout requirements. Yeah. So then we talk about the obstacle avoidance. Let's say, for example, I'm going to number 3. So you can see I'm playing with the robot. Try to avoid it, right? Yeah, yeah. So you work with places where you have very, narrow, not say very, narrow place, and you have people walking around. It's safe, especially children. It's pretty safe. Yeah, safety is most important, I would say. And then you can see that this robot, because it has a 3D sensor, I use my hand. The robot is avoiding my hand.
Besides delivering food and all, this can also act as my reception.
Yes.
For the highway.
Yeah.
You can bring my customers to the city.
Yeah. So I'm going to show you how to get this robot as an usher. Right. We have an usher mode.
So I can put the menus on it as well.
Yes, you can put a menu there. So we have a escort mode.
You be the client special.
Okay, just now there was a carpet, so we carpet behind the carpet, right? So assuming the customer enter the space, enter the restaurant, this is the face will be shown. This is the face will be shown, right? And then I arrive at this place, right? Then I on the screen. So I can see the table number I will go to. Or usually you will have a receptionist here, right? So the receptionist can touch for the customer, right? You can touch the ear. Right, very cute, right? So I can adjust to Chinese also. Chinese, English, Japanese, Korean, Spanish, and a lot of other languages. You understand? So many languages. Let's use Chinese. The Chinese is very cute actually. And it comes in here. So it's very good for places with children and family. So I think I want to go to table number 3. Right? Show me the way. I just follow. Okay, thank you. Take a seat. Then the robot goes back.
Oh, so this one can act independently as the reception.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. I think it's so friendly, so nice to use.
Yeah.
Restaurant setting, even hotels.
Yeah. So lastly, I want to show everyone about using Polar board to deliver plates.
Deliver plates.
Yeah, you can deliver plates. Okay, so deliver plates. The issue is, usually they will be at the places that with a lot of dirty plates, right? So what they do is that, let's say I'm over here, I need to deliver the plates back to the kitchen, the washing area, right? So what I need to have is just a watch, right? And every table will paste this thing, is an RFID. Right? We just paste this thing on the table, right? Then I'll scan. A scan. Yes. Vibration. Okay, now it's showing me right. Right. Then after what I can do is Pola. So the robot is facing me. Right. I get normally you will have a container, right? Get a container, pack your food, and put it back. Right? And then what I do is scan. Right. Okay. I haven't set this up. Okay. Equally press. You will go back. Right?
So this has a touchless feature also.
We can enable that, but today, we saw this thing. Sorry for that.
That's a good one. I think, given that everything has to be touchless,
Yeah. That's right.
Interesting.
Okay.
That's nice.
So
So that is for plate collection.
that's for plate collection.
Very handy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's all for our demo. Any question, everyone? Yeah. So
Thank you all for attending.
thank you everyone for attending our webinar and seminar. So we have finished our presentation and demo. Thank you so much for your time. So feel free to contact us, email us. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I will pass you guys my card. So you may have your this constitution.